Welcome to Silverstone for one of the greatest and biggest weekends on the calendar, the British Grand Prix. A place steeped in motorsport history, and for this year, it is once again a sprint weekend. Charles Leclerc comes here with a point to prove. What can Ollie Bearman do at his second ever home race? Arvid Lindblad will experience his first. What pressure? Lando Norris, of course, winner here last year. And what of our championship leader, Kimi Antonelli? Could this be his weekend? Welcome along to your weekend warm-up. Welcome down to a sunny, rather blustery afternoon here at the British Grand Prix, one of the biggest weekends of the year. And I've got a big crew to match the energy. Juan Pablo Montoya, Alex Brundle and Jolyon Palmer are here to build up to this one, some midway through this incredible season we're having so far. Jolyon, this place is so special. Why?
It's an amazing circuit. I mean, with my race driver's hat on, this has got some of the best corners that all the drivers would look forward to all year. With my British racing driver's hat on, it's got an amazing crowd as well. It could be the biggest crowd we've ever seen at a Formula One race. It has a festival feel to it. I'm sure British or not, the drivers feel a buzz turning up to race on an iconic venue like this one.
Yeah, they're going to be expecting enormous energy from the crowd. I'll come to you for this one, Alex Brundle. You'll see why in a moment, Juan Pablo. We're British. We like to talk about the weather. We'd be very un-British if we didn't reflect on the fact it is currently not just sunny, but very warm down here. And we're expecting it to remain pretty fair.
It's going to be a problematic conversation, is it? Because it's not going to last very long. We're going to have to find something else to talk about 24, 25 degrees for the full weekend. What is going to be a factor, though, here at Silverstone with very flat topography is this wind, which affects the grip and balance in the corners a lot here.
Juan Pablo, it is a sprint weekend as well. What can we learn from that?
I think it's going to be really exciting. One, a lot of home races for a lot of the teams, a lot of the drivers. The other thing is, with the energy management here, is going to be very crucial what people learn in that practice. And they're going to apply it for qualifying, and then they're going to go to the race. And we might see a different result Saturday than Sunday. I think people are going to adapt. And we might even see within the same team, both cars running different strategies to figure out what's the best for Sunday. So it's going to be a bit of an unknown who's really going to get it right this week.
Lots of learnings to come then. Let's take a look, though, at how we got here. Here's what happened in Austria.
This is Formula One in Austria. Russell the driver to beat, his fourth pole of the season, needing a bit of redemption. The Austrian Grand Prix is underway. Decent launch off the line for Charles Leclerc, but George Russell chops across. Look at the Ferraris. So close. Hamilton trying to go around the outside and making the move stick.
Excuse me. I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business.
Hamilton and Verstappen side by side.
For the love, like it's match game. Hit the ground running, really do it for my last name.
He is in the fight for victory. The 7-time world champion and the 4-time world champion separated by millimeters. And he brushes the gravel and he still won't yield. This is magical.
Talking about who can be talking about me.
Max Verstappen hunting down George Russell. He is hammered into this advantage.
They act different when the facts change. I'm not with the tip-for-tat games.
Russell under enormous pressure.
This is a 3-car fight for a race win.
Antonelli closing down Max Verstappen.
I think we let's go, let's maintain the focus.
The race is on.
Small city kid couldn't dream a bigger one.
Antonelli's within a second now.
We had another 5 laps to this race.
The top 3 are separated by 2.2 seconds. George Russell wins his second Grand Prix victory of the season. Back in the fight.
Quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me.
Yabba dabba doo, the T-pose was back. He may well have been the season favourite coming into this, but that was just George Russell's second win so far this season. Jolyon, though, how important a statement was that? How important is momentum for him now?
It's important to build something, I think, for George. It was a huge win. He has to get it, and he manages to deliver it. I have to say, he doesn't do it with aplomb. It's a sort of, it's a hanging on to it drive rather than a display of dominance. And I feel like he's in his Lando phase from last year, where he's getting results. Okay, Kimi DNF'd in Barcelona, but that's an 18-point swing, another 10 points in Austria. He's getting results, but the pace still isn't quite there. And when Lando won here last year, it was with Oscar having a penalty. He won in Budapest, and there was a bit of strategy in play. Then he went on to go and dominate. And I feel like George is in his sort of cling on to it, maximise your points, but not yet asserting himself back into the championship.
George is getting results through racer's edge and smart stuff, isn't he? Through nailing it in qualifying with understanding the quirks of the yellow flag rules, through getting the starts right. And it's a thrilling battle between that kind of racer's instinct and the pure speed of Antonelli with how quick he's been through the first phase of this season.
Well, what's interesting is we talk about Antonelli all weekend, but the guy that put that last lap in qualifying was George. And the guy that got the start was George, and the guy that had a clean race was George, and the guy that got the trophy was George. So yes, Antonelli's unbelievably talented and unbelievably fast, but you can't count him. You can't count George out because he delivered when he mattered. If we didn't have a yellow flag situation in Austria, he still would have been on pole. I think he still would have been ahead of Kimi. So if I'm Kimi coming this weekend, this is the place you need to beat George. This is the one it would really hurt.
That would be a statement, wouldn't it? George Russell, though, eking out every marginal gain he possibly can, playing chase, some 40 points behind his younger teammate. Let's hear their home hero, George Russell.
George, how does it feel to be coming to the British Grand Prix off the back of a win, maybe your best chance ever to win your home race? Just how you feeling about it?
Feeling great, buzzing to be here in Silverstone every year. It's such a special moment. It's getting bigger and better every single year, this race, just seeing how many people are here. And someone told me it's almost like 600,000 people this weekend, which is just crazy. So really can't wait.
Well, best of luck. Thank you.
600,000 people, just extraordinary stuff. Over 500,000 expected here this weekend. Lawrence Barretto with the questions. We'll be bringing him into the show a bit later on as well. Mercedes, then, are we expecting them to be quickest this weekend, guys? Is this a Merc track in this 26 era?
Sure feels like it. It's got everything I think Mercedes would like. I mean, you need aero efficiency around Silverstone, but you also need a lot of power, and they've got the best compromise of that. I think back to your point, actually, Juan. You're right that George nailed when it mattered, but I'm looking at this bigger picture, and I'm thinking, when was the last time George looked quicker in a race than Kimi?
But did he need it to be quicker? This is the thing, George is more mature, and I remember at the end of my career with the wins, you just need to win. You don't need to, if you go up in a 2-3 second gap, you just manage it, and that's it.
He has to find more pace. I think the last time he was quicker was Melbourne. I think you have to go all the way back to Melbourne.
China as well.
Kimi won the race in China. He was away. George was battling with the Ferraris. Japan, Kimi was quicker. The only one that was close was Canada, and George retired. And I don't think it's sustainable, this championship battle, from the position he's in, without him finding more race pace. The qualified pace, I agree. He's not able to extract it as consistently as Kimi, but he can do it
I'm
sometimes.
surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised in Austria being a lower grip track that he did. I thought Kimi would make a bigger statement, and he did all weekend. I think George is not as comfortable in the car as Kimi, and I think that's a big problem, because Kimi seems to drive anything.
But that's why I'm saying George's opportunities are, for example, like the start in Austria. You've got difficulty with the brakes. He's got the experience to manage that. If you look at the race as an average time, yeah, sure, in the final stint, Kimi is taking off towards him. But actually, when you average those laps out, problems included, George is managing it, and that's his chance.
So Kimi should have been on the front row, but for the yellow flags. The brake thing was definitely, it's on Kimi. He didn't get them fired up, didn't get them stopped at the start. But I just think over the course of the season, if you take this race particularly, Mercedes may well have the best car. They should be looking for a front row lockout, and certainly 2 on the podium minimum. Yeah. You can overtake it. If George doesn't have the race pace of Kimi, last race, George had to just mind his own business out front. Kimi had to overtake the Ferraris, he had to fight with Max, and he still closed in 6 seconds. If he has that again here, he'll pass George on track like he did in Barcelona. So I just think George has to take the momentum. You're absolutely right. He's scrapping for results, but he needs to find some race pace. That's the biggest thing.
You mentioned you think Kimi Antonelli is simply more comfortable in the car. Is that why we feel he's that much quicker out the blocks? And how important will it be for George to really hit the ground running on a sprint weekend here?
Yeah, I think you look at practice 1, Kimi's always there, and George is always like trying to find ways, and he's copying a lot of what Kimi's doing and the driving and everything. honestly, I really thought, you look at Austria, I really thought Kimi was gonna, even starting in the back, was gonna beat him. But I think George is driving as hard as he needs to drive. He drove as hard as he needed to drive in qualifying and beat him. And in the race, he did enough to get the job done. You can say he took 6 seconds, but at the end of the day, George wasn't worried about Kimi then. He was worried about Verstappen. And he just needed to manage that gap and make sure he had enough for the end of the race, and he did.
Sure. So Silverstone, for Austria, great. But you could say the same thing in Barcelona, where he couldn't do it.
But he had damage in the car.
They had a little bit of front wing flap, different. It wasn't enough, I don't think.
I don't know. They think it was quite big.
The problem he's got here this weekend, guys, is the place where Kimi is lightning quick is all the fast corners. We saw it again in Austria. There are loads here, even though there's going to be a lot of energy management to do throughout the weekend. And traditionally, throughout this year, wherever there's been a sprint weekend, Kimi's taken the big points away and won the Grand Prix.
You know what? I actually, thinking
pass.
back to Canada, with a sprint race here, and the two of them, as they are, not much separating them, I can just see this being a big Mercedes Inter-Team dice again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating if we have the two of them on the front row off the start here in both the sprint race and the Grand Prix itself. Not the only battle we're expecting, though. I'm pleased to say that for the drivers' parade, the Lego cars are back. I would have paid very good money to see you two in one of these. Yeah, let's get them out there in a Lego car, and not just teammates this time, but every single driver will have their own Lego car. That will come on Sunday before the race. I think we're probably expecting some bumper cars once again. There'll be Lego pieces strewn over this track. Our wonderful marshals will get it all cleared up though, won't they? All right, let's hear then from Max Verstappen, 4-time champ, and our Red Bull on the comeback. Let's find out from the man himself.
Hey Max, obviously Red Bull brought a good package to Miami, there was a step, brought a package to Austria, there was a step. How much kind of good momentum, good confidence in the team is there at the minute that kind of you guys are making progress behind the scenes with this car?
I think we have made good progress, but it's like that the whole season so far. You know, it's like one team bringing quite a big upgrade, they jump ahead, and then another team comes, they go forward again. So we just need to be aware, of course, that can happen again with other teams. So we just keep focusing on our own package, try to optimize that further, and see if we can have more results like that.
Well, best luck, thank you.
Sorry.
So Red Bull have entered the chat for 2026. Are they officially back? What can we expect from them here this weekend? Jolyon.
I suspect Max could be the thorn in the side of the Mercedes. I think the upgrade that they had for Austria was really strong. We know officially they have the best power unit. They have the best the internal combustion engine, but they're really competitive on the straights. Their upgrade package was extensive for Austria, and it brought Max back into play. Their low-speed performance is very good. Max actually had the fastest middle sector in Austria, so that's a good sign of aero efficiency as well. Some long straights, some low speed, bit of high speed. Shows he can do a lot. And I think with the package they've got, if it works in Austria, it can work really nicely here.
Oh, I'd love it if Max Verstappen suddenly enters the chat again for a world title like last year. He comes good towards the end. Alex Brundle, the Racing Bulls, and in the sister team, something went on in Austria. It was on the team radio after the race. It's come out since. Just explain what happened.
It looked like quite a boring race, didn't it, for Racing Bulls? They started at the back end of the points, but this played out off the international feed, really. Got Liam Lawson ahead, and they're both managing brakes. Those who watched the race will remember him complaining that he had the brakes on fire at the beginning of the race. Arvid Lindblad was told not to pass him by the team on the pit wall, but the battle basically ensued. Lindblad pretty much ignoring that instruction. Coming to a head at the end of the race, where effectively Alan Permain had to come over the radio to Liam Lawson and go, "Copy, we understand. We're going to sort this out between the two of you." Super feisty, and of course, at the back end of the Formula One part of that Red Bull programme, drivers are under pressure for their seat every year.
Exactly. Jolyon, you've raced in an Alan Permain team. What would Liam Lawson have taken from Alan Permain's words there? How will Alan implement that within the team?
I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him. And they kind of swapped the places back with Liam pitting a lap earlier and basically having an undercut chance to get back ahead of Arvid. You don't want to get on the wrong side of a team principal. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of that team principal particularly. But the great thing about him is he's no nonsense. I think they'll both know exactly where they stand at the end of that race. There was obviously a lot of frostiness on the radio. They're pretty evenly matched. They're both, as you say, you've got Solov coming in F2 looking good with the Red Bull Junior team. They're you never know how long you're going to be in that car. So they're desperate to assert a little bit of dominance. And I think Alan Permain is the guy there, just to be like, let's not muck around. You need to do that. You need to do that. We're not going to race each other when we're not supposed to. He'll sort it out.
Do the chalking on track cleanly and fairly. Well, a man who knows a thing or two about how to win on this track is Sir Lewis Hamilton. Here he is to talk us through it.
Silverstone is particularly special. It's all medium and high-speed corners. It's fast-flowing.
Lewis Hamilton coming alive around this racetrack.
It's like an old house with character all around it.
Look at how quick this is. Hamilton is setting a scorching pace.
It just like oozes like awesomeness. Start your lap down the new paddock straight. Well, I think it's actually Hamilton straight, maybe? Is that right? I think it is, I don't know. Yeah. If you're lucky, I mean, generally with our cars, we should be full gas through, full throttle through turn 1, so it's relatively straightforward. Flat is 2, 3 is a fast sweeping medium speed corner. You really got to make sure you get back to the right for turn 4. Good exit down all the way, then you go into the kind of the old circuit, which is passing Priory, but then into Brooklands. And again, these are really cool, amazing corners where you're a lot of trail braking, that the corner's quite far around reaching, so you have to trail brake into these corners. And then you come into turn 7, and you usually see a whole crowd starting on the left, and you see them as you're going through the whole thing, and you notice them all the way down the straight, all the way down to Copse. Copse, you're really looking far ahead. This corner you're doing around 190 miles an hour, and it's insane. So picking your point, and you're constantly having to tell yourself, don't lift, don't lift. Then you're flat out all the way into Maggots and Beckett's, and then you're just trying to pick your point. And if you can get a flow and a rhythm going through that section, it's like my uncle would say, poetry in motion. And then you're flat out all the way down to Stowe. Again, planning the whole straight of your reference points. Again, you can see a whole crowd at the end and the flags moving, and you can then again also see which is the wind direction that you can play with the car, which gives you confidence or not confidence to head into that corner with speed. Come through the last corner, into the last corner, it's late braking, trying to avoid lockups, going too deep, and focusing on the exit to finish off your lap.
Lewis Hamilton and Silverstone, the two go hand in hand, don't they? I'm sure there are a fair few Lewis fans out there who may well have had to change their team tops in recent years, from the Mercedes to, of course, the red of Ferrari. Yes, he's picked up his first win in red, but from Barcelona to Austria, Juan Pablo, Ferrari really have seemed to struggle last time out. Why do you think that is?
I think one of the main reasons they won in Barcelona is because they did a 3-stop, and I think people underestimated how high the degradation was and how much benefit they had in pace by doing the 3-stop, especially when everybody reacted to them stopping early and compromising their 2-stop race. So Austria, their one-lap pace was incredible. So I think they're going to be looking at it and say, do we need to sacrifice? Did we went too aggressive on the setup for a one-lap performance? Because the one-lap performance was really good. Their deck was really high. And they went for a 3-stop strategy when they had no tires, the proper tires to do so, I think.
You know, the Ferrari was 15 kilometers per hour down on the straight from Mercedes in Austria. And yeah, the one-lap pace was good. But when they're on that softer end of the compound range, in comparison to the harder end they'll have here in Barcelona, they really seem to struggle. The problem that they've got here is the power unit deficit, I think, is going to play out around Silverstone big time.
I don't even know how good the one-lap pace was in Austria. Bear in mind, George beat him by 2/10, lifting off for a yellow flag. Max was going to beat them, but crashed off at the end. Kimi didn't get a chance. They should have been 4th and 5th on the grid. Still beat McLaren, which is okay, but they were not as quick as Red Bull or Mercedes. And then they had the tyre deck. Every time we jump on board with a Ferrari, it could be FP1, could be any time in one lap. They're oversteering, could be Q3, the final throws. You've got them sliding on the rear. When you have a hot day in Austria, which is rear limited, you're going to always run into tyre troubles. And Spain, the fact that it was a 3-stop, it paid so much into their hands. That's really true.
But even a cool day on a fast track, they then just don't have the downforce, do they? I think they then just don't have the very high speed performance. All of the gains they made in Austria, wherever they were taking time back, was in 3, was in 4, was in the low and medium speed.
Yeah, I think here the first part of the lap they're going to be quite good. where you can deploy a lot of energy and a lot of hairpins and stuff on the last corner. But when we go into the old cups and the high speed, maggots, packets, all that, I think they will struggle.
You're talking here about the car characteristics, why it suits some, why it doesn't suit other tracks. Why do we think Charles Leclerc is struggling in a way that we're not perhaps seeing Lewis Hamilton struggle as much? Last season was all about why is Lewis struggling against Charles? What's this deficit? Where's it coming from? The new regs have come in, tables have turned.
I see it that the Ferrari, again, is really pointy. Now, if you'd have asked me at the start of the year who would like a pointy car, I would have said Charles over Lewis, actually. He's normally able to dance the car on the edge. But I wonder if he's just a little bit too aggressive with it, actually, and Lewis's much smoother style could coax the pointy car a little bit better, whereas Charles, when it's right, he's really quick, but he does make a few more errors with it, so he's having to sort of rein it back in. He's sort of naturally kicking the back out more, whereas you don't need to do that with the Ferrari. It does it all by itself. So I wonder if it's a little bit of that. I think Lewis is doing a much better job at, if second's the best, taking second, whereas I think Charles sometimes, if second's the best, still is gunning for first, and there's a little bit of that in there, and it's small differences still, but it's just Lewis is able to extract a much cleaner time.
Charles coming here then with a point to prove, but in Lewis Hamilton's backyard. Let's hear from the man himself at home.
Back at Silverstone, a place where you've had so much success in the past. How deep is the bond between you, the British fans, this racetrack?
I mean, it goes 20 years strong, so it's pretty deep. I think this is my 20th year, right? Someone told me on my 20th, yeah. So it's been building for a long, long time, since my first pole position here in 2007. So it's phenomenal when you come here. I heard that we're going to have the biggest crowd this weekend that we've probably ever had. And I mean, it's such a privilege for us Brits to be here representing the country, also in the height of all this great sporting moments. You've got Wimbledon going on and the World Cup as well. So with England winning yesterday, which is good as well. So.
I love that. Yeah, what a summer of sport we are having, both here in Britain, but also internationally as well. And Silverstone's such a key part of that, the British Grand Prix. So can Lewis Hamilton extract another performance around a circuit he loves after that epic 2024 win? We've got somebody joining us alongside us. Lawrence Barretto has entered our makeshift studio here in the pit lane. Lawrence, how are you doing? Silverstone,
really good, thanks.
What a weekend.
Well, I've enjoyed listening to you guys so far. So yeah, thanks for adding me to the chat. I love this weekend. It's going to be a record crowd around here. I think 570,000. Yeah. And the place, even on a Thursday, just driving in a little bit later than you guys today, it was heaving. So it's great. The atmosphere is amazing.
Okay, we're going to talk about McLaren with you. We're going to talk about driver market, because obviously Zach Brown and Max Verstappen have caused a few headlines in Austria. Lando Norris saying he welcomed Max Verstappen as his teammate. He wants to race against the best, of course he does. Saying Oscar Piastri is also an incredible driver. What is going on behind the scenes? What can you tell us?
Well, I think with Lando, he's got a contract after he won that world title last year for many, many years at McLaren. He said for the first time, really, he could be a one-man team, so he could just stay at that team forever. Oscar Piastri, I'm hearing, is actually very happy here. So you might ask, well, why on earth is Max Verstappen talking to McLaren and Zach Brown if there's no space at the inn? And I think it's because Max is trying to figure out where else he can go other than Red Bull, because Mercedes looks locked down now, with George Russell staying in there with Kimi Antonelli next year. And then you've got Zach going, well, I might need him in a couple of years' time in case Oscar or Lando decide otherwise. So they're having this conversation, and they want to talk about, what the commercial terms might be, what the fees might be, what kind of terms Max would want if he joins. And that kind of just puts them in a really good spot for if they want to have a conversation in a couple of years' time. But right now, Zach Brown's very happy with Lando and Oscar. There's no intention of changing it. And it's kind of looking like Max is going to end up having to stay at Red Bull rather than choosing to stay at Red Bull.
I think it's more of a pressure move. It's a way to tell Red Bull, I'm not happy with the car, I'm not happy where I am. Like, I love you guys, but I'm willing to go if you don't deliver.
But go to McLaren, who Lando Norris has just said are 2 to 3 months behind this season. What do you make of McLaren's pace so far?
Yeah, the problem is McLaren is, at the moment is Red Bull is better. So unless, the hard thing with F1, there's no guarantees where you're going to, if next year is the car to be. Max has been blessed at Red Bull the last few years with an amazing car, and he's used as well, he's won the championships, he's done everything. But look at a best story, look at Fernando. Fernando's an amazing driver, but apart from his timing in Renault, it's been awful. you know, and he's an amazing driver, and he probably deserves a lot more championships than what he's done.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you say Fernando for all these years has not been able to get back to a top team, but we'd all say that for now, who knows, because he's got no benchmark, but for years, he's been worthy of a top team. And you've got Max, who I think we'd all probably agree is still the best driver in the field right now. How can he not walk into all the other teams? But they're just happy with their lineups. It seems like they're in an equilibrium. The other thing with McLaren, though, is they've got GP coming for 2028, possibly sooner. So that's a piece of the puzzle that might be a nice fit for Max. Obviously, they've forged an incredible relationship. So that's one extra incentive, I think, for that chat to happen and see what goes on for the future.
I wonder how you're feeling if you're Oscar Piastri in all of this, and you've got Max Verstappen knocking on the door and Lando Norris saying, yeah, I'd welcome him in. That is some pressure, isn't it? Okay, we're going to head to Ruth Buscombe now, who is standing by to talk through strategy this weekend on what looks to be a dry weekend. We're so used to the wet, dry crossover here, Ruth. What's happening?
Well, here we are in Silverstone paddock, and we go from Austria, where we had the softest compounds of the Pirelli range, to having the hardest compounds. We have the C1 this week as the hard, we have the C2 as the yellow medium, and we have the C3 as the red soft. So going into this sprint weekend, the first sprint weekend we've had here since 2021, I'm expecting to see everybody pretty much on this red soft tyre for the sprint tyre race. Moving on to the main Grand Prix on Sunday, right now it is looking like a one stop with a medium and a soft, probably soft medium, with the hard at the moment looking slightly slower. But it's Silverstone, and you know, it doesn't normally play to the script, because here, even though on paper it can look like a one-stop, paper doesn't usually do that well in the British weather, where we have the wind coming into play. 60 cars in the last, since races since 2018 have gone up in Copse and Stowe. Rain is always possible. At the moment, 7% chance, but it said that in 24 and in 25 when it ended up being a wet, dry crossover itself. And 7 of the 9 last races have had safety cars or virtual safety cars interrupt the running and push that race into a 2-stop, Laura. So I think the only way to watch it is to go watch it and find out.
Ruth, I love that. It looks like it could be a one-stop, but it's Silverstone, so absolutely anything can happen, and it still might rain, even though it's forecast not to. That is the British weather that some of us here know and love. All right, we're going to talk about some of the midfield teams now. Alpine, where were they in Austria? What was the struggle there? Pierre Gasly out the top 10 for the first time all season.
It just never looked fast enough. It's hard because I thought to a point they maybe compromised qualifying knowing the high deck of the race, but the pace wasn't there. It was actually surprising that both cars were struggling. Normally, when Alpine struggles, one struggles, the other one's good, but both cars were at the pace. And the hard thing is the Racing Bulls took a step forward. So what we thought a couple of races ago that it was Alpine the next best thing out of the top teams, I would say Racing Bulls took that place right now.
Yeah, looking at the midfield, are there any other teams that we are expecting to take a step here or perhaps struggle?
Yeah, we're expecting a reasonable, it's been described as a medium-sized upgrade for Williams.
Okay.
So we'll see if that comes to anything from them. I was also shocked a little bit by Alpine in Austria, because it was a reasonably sizable upgrade to the front of that car, front wing and everything that went on around it. It just didn't seem to yield that much, and especially in that close midfield battle. Every time a team brings an upgrade to the car, then you tend to see them move forward. We're waiting for a bigger upgrade for Aston Martin. That's going to come first for the chassis and then for the power unit, but I think their struggles will probably continue. But I've got my beady eyes on Williams this weekend.
Oh, I love that. Jolyon, anyone caught your eye?
I'll throw a shout out for Audi. I think Racing Bulls should be the quickest team in that midfield pack, but I'm looking for Audi to score a point again. I mean, it's been such a long time. They've had a lot of bad luck in there. They've got a better understanding of their race starts. The car's competitive, maybe not for Q3, it could be on the edge, but if anything happens ahead, I think they might nab a point.
And we can't forget it is a sprint weekend as well. That means the schedule looks a little different, doesn't it? And teams will be looking for any opportunity they can with more points on offer here. Let's take a look then. Friday, 1 solitary hour of practice, building up to that one from 12 here local time. Then we head straight into competitive action, sprint qualifying 4:10 for a 4:30 start, and the sprint quali reaction just afterwards as well. That will set the grid for your sprint race. That's midday on Saturday. All the build-up beforehand and the reaction afterwards as ever. Qualifying 15:25 for that one, a 4 p.m. start, and straight after quali, you know where to be for all of the analysis Heading into Sunday, race day at Silverstone, do they come much bigger? 10 to 2, building up to the pre-race show and the 3 p.m. start for your British Grand Prix, the post-race show straight afterwards. We have got plenty over F1 TV for you to look forward to this weekend as well. We've got Arvid Lindblad to chat to, we've got Lando Norris to chat to, and Sir Lewis Hamilton as well. We've got a few more things up our sleeve, a few special things planned for our British Grand Prix weekend. Here's a sneak peek at one of them. I think it's fair to say I've had quite a fun week, and we can't wait to show you what I've been up to. Can't wait to bring you that one. First, though, I'd like to get the predictions and thoughts, please, of this brilliant lineup here. Juan Pablo.
I would say it's a Mercedes 1-2 with a last lap pass.
Oh, come on. Who's the winner? Who's passing who?
I think Kimi will take the win in the last lap.
Oh, okay. Alex Brundle.
Any kind of interrupted race, Russell wins. A straightforward race, Kimi wins, with Max Verstappen making trouble for both of them throughout the full race distance.
Nice. Jolyon Palmer.
A couple of upgrades for McLaren this weekend, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to spoil Alex Brundle's prediction. I could see it being Kimi, just on race pace, George, and then Max third.
I'm going to say a George Russell win. I don't often weigh in on my predictions, but I'm going to go for it. A George Russell win. I think he's going to build on the momentum. He's going to get his first win at the British Grand Prix. Lots of emotion on Sunday, but we're going to see, I agree, a Kimi Antonelli and a Max Verstappen rounding out the podium. Come back and find out how wrong we all were on Sunday. But I think they're pretty solid bets, aren't they? Get involved at home. You can scan the QR code now and get involved on F1 prediction and let us know what you think. Guys, that's it for weekend warm-up. It's officially warmed and we are ready to go. Thank you, Juan Pablo, Alex, Jolyon. Do come and join us then tomorrow, 1 hour of practice and then straight to qualifying on this sprint weekend here at Silverstone. We will see you then.
It is going to be another barnstorming British Grand Prix. A huge crowd provide the electric atmosphere. Silverstone only deals in spectacular. And the British Grand Prix is go! And it is a rapid racetrack with some fantastic corners of commitment.
Wow, wow, wow. This couldn't be much closer.
A truly extraordinary racetrack. Nowhere entwines speed and heroics like this place. Lando Norris wins! Absolutely brilliant. A home hero at Silverstone.
This is a dream, winning at home. I'll remember this more than anything.